Hi, yes, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, June 20th. Another comfortable morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region. Canadian high pressure controls the weather pattern and should provide a couple of nice days to end the work week. By the weekend, that high shifts off the northeast coast. Southwesterly winds increase in the lower part of the atmosphere. That'll build up heat and humidity over the weekend. Nothing record-breaking or terribly uncomfortable, but it certainly will be more noticeably humid and warmer over the weekend, with temperatures not too far from 90 degrees by Sunday afternoon in most mid-Atlantic locations. Let's take a look at the latest surface map. Here's that high pressure sitting right on top of us here in the northeastern part of the country. Again, dew points for the most part comfortable, down in the 50s, certainly from Pennsylvania, Maryland border on north and east. Perhaps a low 60s for the dew points right now across the D.C. region, but even that is fairly comfortable for this time of the year. Gradually, this high moves off the northeast coast by the weekend, and winds will shift to a more southwesterly direction on the backside of that high in the Mid-Atlantic region this weekend in much of the atmosphere, and that will increase the heat and humidity over the weekend. And again, by Sunday afternoon, most places will have high temperatures not far from 90 degrees with fairly humid air mass in place by then. For the severe weather threat, the really only area right now for today will be across the northern plains. A couple of frontal systems in a low pressure area. Possibility of some severe weather in places like Fargo and Minneapolis over the next 12 hours or so. Pretty hot and dry out here in the southern Rockies. Denver should reach 90 degrees again today with some areas of smoke. We'll see in a couple of minutes. I have a visible satellite image from late yesterday that shows a couple of wildfires burning, one out here in the southern part of Colorado, another one in New Mexico, sending some smoke throughout the southern Rockies for this morning. Typical weather along the west coast with some low clouds and fog in the early morning hours, and then some afternoon clearing skies with seasonably cool conditions for this time of the year. Well, as far as precipitation is concerned, again, the north central part of the country is where most of the activity is here, and the northwestern part of the country. Can be a severe thunderstorm in Fargo, Minneapolis, even down in South Dakota over the next 6 to 12 hours or so. Again, some precipitation here in the Pacific Northwest, but for the most part, the rest of the country is relatively dry. Some scattered showers and thunderstorms associated with that departing cool frontal system off the southeast coast this morning. Well, let's take a look at some different viewpoints for the latest satellite imagery. This is the GOES visible imagery loop for the Mid-Atlantic region from the Penn State EWOL site. Generally clear skies. There's a little band of clouds here cutting across south central Pennsylvania into the northern part of Virginia. Can be some clouds for the next few hours in that region. For the most part, it'll be partly to mostly sunny today throughout the Mid-Atlantic region with comfortable temperatures and humidity levels. Now here's the GOES visible satellite imagery loop from the Penn State EWOL site for the end of the day yesterday, and I wanted to just show this even though it's several hours old because it really shows well a couple of wildfires right here. Southern part of Colorado, right here, the wildfires sending smoke off to the east as the winds are blowing basically from west to east. Another one down here in New Mexico, the southern part of New Mexico, centered right here. Again, the winds blowing it relatively west to east, or perhaps a little bit southwest to northeast. So the smell of smoke is in the air this morning as far north and east as Denver, Colorado. Some wildfires continue today. Generally hot and dry weather pattern, not at all unusual for this time of the year out in the southern Rockies, and the wildfire threat will certainly continue for the next several days. Well, one last satellite view. This is an infrared satellite viewpoint from the Wisconsin SSEC website. This area right here, way in the western part of the Gulf of Mexico, the southwestern part, is the tropical storm Barry. It did become an officially named tropical system, the second one of the year. Of course, we had Andrea a couple of weeks ago that rode right up the east coast, dumping several inches of rain. This is the second named system, Barry tropical storm. Will have very little, if any, effect on any part of the U.S. as it continues to move right into the heart of Mexico over the next 12 hours or so, and it'll continue to weaken as it passes over land over the next 12 to 24 hours or so. But again, right now, there is a second named tropical system, Barry, headed right into the heart of Mexico over the next 12 hours or so. Well, let's take a quick look at a couple of GFS forecast maps. Not much change here in the northeastern part of the country. We'll look at tomorrow morning. This is Friday morning's forecast map at the surface from last night's 0Z GFS model run. High pressure pretty much throughout the northeastern part of the country here, dominating the scene. Again, today will be comfortable. Tomorrow will be comfortable as well. And then the heat and humidity will gradually build up over the weekend as the high kind of slowly slides off the northeast coast and this south or southwesterly flow of air starts to develop on the backside of the high. But let's now jump ahead 48 hours to Sunday morning. And here it is, the map for Sunday morning, and not much change. Again, pretty similar weather pattern continues right through the weekend with high pressure dominating the scene. Again, on the backside, start to get a little bit of southwesterly flow developing by the latter part of the weekend, and heat and humidity will gradually build up this weekend, and it looks like once that happens, it'll stick around right into at least the early part of next week, with temperatures not too far from 90 degrees, anywhere from 85 to 90 degrees come Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday here in the I-95 corridor of the Mid-Atlantic region. So that's it for now. For the SIweather.com, I'm the SI meteorologist, Paul Dorian.